Let's talk about one of the biggest headaches in software development. You know that long, super expensive journey from a great idea and a product requirements document, a PRD, to actual working code that people can use.
But what if you could just skip that whole process? What if that document, the one just describing what you want to build, could basically become the thing you're building? It's a pretty wild thought, so let's dig into it.
Okay, I want to start with a number that might be a little shocking. $10,000. And that's often just the starting price for a dev team to build out a single new feature.
And you know what's really crazy about that number? It's not for some groundbreaking new algorithm. A lot of that cost comes from rebuilding the same old things. You know, tables, forms, modals. The basic building blocks that your team has probably coded from scratch hundreds of times. This is what we're calling the $10,000 UI problem. And it's a great way to think about it. It's like this hidden tax on your engineering team, just constantly draining time and money on work that's already been done before, instead of on, actual innovation.
I mean, think about the traditional way this goes. It's painfully slow, right? You're looking at a 4-week cycle. The first couple of weeks are just for building the component itself. Then you've got another week just to plug it in and make it look right. And then finally, a whole week for QA to hunt down all the inevitable bugs.
And the data on this is just, wow. A staggering 40% of a developer's time gets eaten up by this UI boilerplate, that generic, repeatable stuff. That is nearly half their time not spent on the unique business logic that actually makes your product valuable and special.
So okay, that's the problem. How do you possibly fix it? Well, this is where a new solution called PromptUI comes into the picture. And it's not just a small improvement, it's being framed as a total paradigm shift in how we do UI development.
So what is it? At its heart, PromptUI is an AI platform that literally reads your product requirements and then spits out production-ready UI code. The key phrase there is the time frame. It does this in minutes, not the weeks we just talked about.
All right, I know what you're thinking. That sounds a little too good to be true, right? Kind of like magic. So let's pull back the curtain and see how this thing actually works.
The whole process is designed to be incredibly simple. Step 1. You upload your PRD. Could be a text file, a PDF, whatever you've got. Step 2. The AI chews on it and generates all the technical specs for the components. And then, boom, you get the actual code, which you literally just copy, paste, and deploy.
And what's really cool about this is how it gets natural language. You don't have to learn some weird new syntax. You can just write a simple requirement, plain as day, like the user needs to be able to create a product. And this is where the AI really shines. From that one simple sentence, the system is smart enough to figure out that you don't just need one thing. You'll need a create button, right? And that button should probably open a form inside a modal window. And then after the user submits it, you'll want some kind of success notification. It figures all that out and generates all 3 pieces, already connected and working together.
Okay, so a natural question here is this just a toy for making quick prototypes, or can I actually use this for a real, massive application? And the answer is clear. This is absolutely built for production.
We're talking about components that come with all the enterprise-grade features you'd expect and that you'd normally have to build by hand. They're already performance optimized. They meet modern accessibility standards, they work across all the major browsers, and they even have stuff like validation and error handling built right in.
And that production-ready promise even extends to branding. I mean, instead of spending days tweaking CSS, you just give it 5 of your core brand colors. That's it. From just that, the AI generates dozens of variables for things like hover states, backgrounds, and accessible text colors, all done for you.
And this number just perfectly illustrates the impact. That simple 5-color input leads to a 90% reduction in the time your team would normally spend on theming and branding these components. 90%.
It's not just about making things look pretty either. The components are built for testing from day one. They automatically include these stable, consistent data QA ID selectors, so your QA team can write reliable automation scripts, like this little Cypress example, that won't break every time a developer makes a small change.
So, when you put all of this together, it doesn't just make one task faster. It fundamentally changes the entire development workflow. It really does create a whole new reality for how teams can build software.
And here it is. This is the payoff. On the left, you've got the old way. 4 weeks of work, 10 grand or more in cost, and a lifetime of maintenance headaches. And on the right, the new way. 15 minutes, 0 component cost, and 0 maintenance. I mean, the difference is just massive.
And this benefit spreads across the entire company, right? Your dev teams are freed up to focus on the stuff that actually matters, the core business logic. Your product teams can get new features out to market exponentially faster. And your QA teams have components that are ready for automation from the very first minute. It's a win-win-win.
So ultimately, what we're looking at here is a vision for the future of building user interfaces. It's a fundamental shift away from having engineers manually code the same commodity components over and over again.
There's this quote from the source material that just nails it. The goal is to move from being a code writer to being a problem describer. You let the intelligent systems handle the how, so you can focus on the what and the why, on what the user actually needs.
It's a really powerful idea, shifting development from weeks of manual labor to just minutes of AI-assisted creation. And the final question this leaves us with is a simple one. Is your team ready for that future?